All right, man. What's good, verse?
Peace, peace. We here. Peace, we here.
Looking good, man.
Thank you.
Where you going? Oh, today's Thanksgiving.
Correct.
You celebrate that?
Not from the pagan perspective, but I do take the time to connect with family.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that I'm not celebrating it in the European original way, I'm at peace with that, because that's not a positive day for our Native American brothers and sisters.
Oh, well, we call it give thanks.
Right.
I don't call it Thanksgiving.
So I like that. I think I'm gonna embody that. I like that.
Yeah. But anyway, man, it's good to see you, bro.
Likewise.
See you still outside. You still doing the music thing?
Yes. Yeah. Heavy. I have got the squad up records that's coming. I got an entire project with producer Life. His manager has a situation at Rock Nation, so they negotiate in that. And then I have multiple projects that I'm working on myself.
All right, well, before we get deep into that, we're going to have to let the people know who you are, and for the people that don't know.
Right.
And where you start. So where are you originally from?
My parents are Caribbean. One is from Totola, another one is from St. Croix. But I was born in Harlem, raised in the Bronx.
Okay, born in Harlem, raised in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like growing up in Harlem?
You
was raised in the Bronx.
Yeah.
So what was it like growing up in the Bronx? What part of the Bronx?
From 179th and Walton Avenue. But
okay.
Because of after my notoriety started to build, and I was everywhere. The Towers, McCoon's, Burnside. Yeah.
Mm.
So it spread. But before that, you as a young person in an urban environment, you're not realizing that the environment is toxic, because there was there was urban street codes to certain things. So OGs at that time had the moral capacity to not involve young people in so much things. So, we had we played 21. It was a very high competitive basketball neighborhood.
21, what's that for people that don't know?
21 is a competitive game of basketball where the goal is for one person to reach 21 points, but they have to also score the final shot at the top of the key. So we played 21. We played full court. We played manhunt, freeze tag. Yeah, we played air tag. We had one-on-one fights and survived and lived.
Slap boxing and all that.
Slap boxing.
Basically being trained. It's like a training.
Yeah, basically. So, I was I wouldn't say I was typical, because I had the privilege. I now understand that education is not intelligence; it's a privilege of information. So I had the privilege of having a educated mother who was not who was healthy in her femininity and not toxic, to the point where she understood that her having sons, they needed positive representation of masculinity. So she was strategic in assembling that and positioning me in areas where she felt like this person could give my sons, plural, positive. So she was very, and then I started to understand, especially after reading Malcolm X, but I started to understand real men just have morals and principles, and they just have accountability for whatever decisions they choose.
So you said you grew up on 179th and Walton?
Yes, correct.
So name some famous rappers from that area, or just
down the block of
famous people. Period.
Yeah. So down the block by Weeks is rapper from Dipset that Cameron has signed. Hellrell, yeah.
Okay.
So Hellrell know me well through one of our good friends. His name is BT. So BT was heavy was heavy in the street. You know,
He was a hustler.
I would say he was more of a
or an aggressive.
More of
a little bit of both.
He was a gangster. I like. There's no way other.
Yeah, he's a gang.
He was. Yeah, I literally was. You know.
Streets.
Yeah, but but he was very spiritual and underrated spiritual, and I think his spirituality was the reason why he was able to make it through a lot of things he make it through, and still like have a smiling, wonderful, caring spirit, and you know, so, and that's why we gravitated, because I'm not against at all, and he, you know, he embodied a big brother role in certain, in particular situations, and teaching me, you know, certain things in the environment, and how to and like I was saying in a new song, yeah, that was crazy, because that he was the first, that was the first time I dealt in a situation where it was in a shootout, and there's a psychological term, fight or flight. Mm-hmm. His instinct was, because he lived on the first floor, his instinct was to grab the Magnum that he had hidden behind the joint on the first floor, and then another under the under like the tires where there would be, and I didn't even know he had that until that situation, because it was a dude on the top of McCoon's, just on the top of it, and just started shooting that one day, and I was like, oh shit, this is happening. And then he, you know, I'm not gonna go into what happened.
So as a young youth, you saw a lot of like different shit.
I was 12 years old in Burnside. Police walked up, because at this time, right, why my mother was not negligent. My mother was in tune and understood I needed healthy masculine guidance. So like if it was like Bob, Storm, Hedo, if she felt if they were outside, we're good. You know what I mean?
Like she felt like if you was outside on the street?
No. If certain people were outside, the neighborhood was protected.
So they was okay. They was protecting the neighborhood,
right?
To a certain extent.
Because
they were respectable at the same time.
Yes. We talking about.
They'll see your mom come home and they help her with the groceries type.
All of that.
Gotcha.
All of that. Right. So you know, my one of my guys' kid, his father was a father to the neighborhood, and everybody know that. God rest his soul. He was the first person to teach me how to tie a tie, and looked over my resume and was just proud at the fact that I was, you know, even on the music, but still doing what I was doing. So he always did and he was more stern with me, because in that he embraced the fact that, oh, you listen. So I'm gonna take that in, and that's why his sons to this day, they all like quality individuals, you know.
And Walton is like almost, it's like a famous street.
Yes, Walton is a famous street, and at the time, it was a very high. The park, the Walton Park, became a very known basketball competitive park, and a lot of us were skilled at the game, but then some of us, we had like Ronald, who's known in the Ruckers, the Matrix. He just had a higher level of ball handling and floor generalship. Then you had another rapper from the neighborhood who I helped in the beginning get his first position, and his name was Straws, who was a phenomenal basketball player. Jaquito played, but then his cousin, we all know, who was around us, Kemba Walker, NBA, you know, legend. You know, I believe that when he retires, he would be an NBA legend, because he's played on that level. And the only reason why he's not in the league right now is politics and maybe a few injuries. But in his prime, Kemba Walker was arguably, you know, top 5 guards in the league. That's and that's without a, you know. But the neighborhood was a typical neighborhood. I just remember the transition when we started to get a little older, and when the Dub City was created, it then turned into a gang. And before, it was a group of young men, and we were just like, oh, repping our neighborhood. It wasn't a gang. But then the people in our areas really went into the streets.
Like what year are we talking about when it started to transition into like a gang?
I would say
The 90s, early 2000s.
Late 90s.
So basically drugs.
Yeah, because people started to hustle. People started to, yeah.
Isn't J-Lo like from around there or something?
She's from not too far. She's like probably like, I believe like two long bus stops away, but not too far. She's around the Prospect area. She's not too far, but you could go to the Prospect on the other side of the concourse through the bus. So, yeah.
So being from the Bronx, where they say hip hop started in the Bronx, is that how you got into hip hop? Like how did that start? How did hip hop become something for you?
Right. So before hip hop, I was into poetry, and what advanced my poetry, my stepfather used to make me read 50 words from the dictionary. I had to give him a sentence, a definition, and I had to learn the prefix and the suffix of the word.
Did you did that seem like a punishment at the time?
It was definitely that. I was highly aggressive and had a temper. Yeah, I had believe it or not, I'm a completely different young person. I had a temper. I had a lot of fist fights. I had, I was just a different. So he was just instructing discipline. To this day, though, we have a greater relationship because, in my opinion, I think some of it was abuse, but also too, I do have empathy because he's a survivor of drug use, and he would be what you call a competent. He had a competent addiction because at that time he showed no signs. I mean, you're talking about a man who held down a household construction worker. So he didn't, all the mistakes that was happening, he had enough decorum to do that, not in the presence of his children.
And you said he's your stepfather. Is
Yes.
he like the stepfather to all the kids or just?
No, he's a stepfather to me and my sister at the time, but he was my brother's father. So it's 5 of us, but at the time it was just 3.
Okay.
Right, so so I got 2 brothers he's the stepfather. He's the father of.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's.
So to this day, I have he's gonna probably be at my brother's house at Thanksgiving. To this day, I have a great relationship with him because I think there's a resonated defense mechanism with my mother with a guilt because she felt like certain things that happened to me, like as she felt like maybe she could have did something sooner about it. But also too, when I look at who I am and what it was more so of, he was really trying to instill discipline because it was all structured around development. It just was harsh in certain capacities, but it was structured around development. And then when you look at his history, that's what it was. So, and to this day, he's a very spiritual man and very gracious man. So it's like, and when I look at it, the respect I have for older men, the respect I have for people, how I embrace masculinity at this moment, like just that's needed. There's too many males in single mother households with no masculine influence or guidance, and you see it getting regurgitated through all of these toxic actions, and that's an overall agenda. And it's not a knock to the LGBT community, but there's a biological agenda to not have
a father in the household.
Right. Exactly.
But speaking of that, like you said, your stepfather. So I don't know if you want to get like your father. Like, what's your actual?
He's a musician. He actually was one of the best musicians in his time. Matter of fact, one of my OGs, Nate, I didn't even know he helped develop him. He played in all of the clubs in Harlem. My mother, at one time, had it. My aunt told me the story. She had a position where, she had him a great opportunity, and I think he thought she had some type of dealing with the exec that was unprofessional. They got into it, and they were no longer together. But my mother was just a resilient, motivated woman. She was road managing, doing the she was doing the not road management. She was doing the executive management for Roseland, where she had to manage the show logs for Madonna and what's his name LL Cool J at the time. So and she was an accountant, you know, so she was very in tuned in that.
So you come from like a musical family, really. Well,
yeah,
a music,
yes,
business,
definitely
music type family.
Since I was young, my father was, I had baby fingers. He would see I was picking up the notes real quickly. But my introduction to hip hop was through my love for poetry, because Maya Angelou was the first poet that I seen take metaphors and similes and make them in such a complex way. So I was a child, I was impressed. But then it was my sister who started a rap. And I liked the way that was. But it wasn't until one day I walked in my...
Wait, so what, your sister used to rap?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and she said a rap and I liked it. So then
her own rap that she wrote?
Her own rap that she wrote, yeah.
Okay. She's old. Your sister's older than you?
Yes, she's a couple of years older than me, yeah. So and...
So your sister kind of introduced you to rap?
You could technically say that, but what really... Yes, you can technically say that. But what really did it was one day... My older cousin, his name is Amari, right? Mm-hmm. We would always go to my aunt's house, right? Auntie Pam, and Auntie Pam was Afrocentric, enriched, educated, right? So I got that, all of that, because we all listened. You know what I mean? And one day he was playing, never forget, Method Man. And
what song?
METHOD, man. And then I said,
90s.
I can do that. And that's when I wrote my first rap. The KAMA, you say, man, I'm not the Method Man, just a little brother with the power in my hand. Let me groove, let me say expand. What is it?
Okay.
Freestyles I be kicking, but this one is written. I better follow directions before I get a whipping.
What age?
Man, what was I? I wasn't a teen yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't a teen yet. And that's what it was. It was I was like pretty advanced at it. And then I knew it was different, because now the girls would say, "Hey, I'll give you a kiss on the cheek if you can write a rap about me."
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
you was writing raps, little love raps.
Yeah. And then I started to see the intricacy of it and the ability to express yourself. So then it just became the identity.
That's dope, man. Yeah. So then you started just rapping in the neighborhood?
So then that's what happened. So we would be on the block after we playing. It started with after Chiquito or Ramsey or Mikey would be like, "Yo, man, kick a freestyle," and I would do it, and then it would go from us not playing basketball just for 45 minutes to now people are coming out there to just like a mini concert, to be honest. And then when that's when I used to beat on the like any car, I would beat on the car, make my rhythm, and rap it and sing.
So you was you was a producer.
Yeah.
So you basically running around the neighborhood, rap. Did you get into like battles and stuff like that?
That came, yeah. That definitely came, and because battling started to come. So what happened was, as I started to get recognition in my own neighborhood, there was slowly starting to be that admiration, and that's the thing about why certain people, that admiration started to transition into a competitive energy, to a jealousy, and I wasn't able to deal with that at a young person, because these were people, you know. So not everyone, but it was enough for me to say, okay, I'm not gonna chill here today. You know what I mean? So then that's when I started to move around.
Could it have been because of the girls? Because you was writing raps and they wanted you to write raps for them, and now the girls.
That was happening, and then the older guys would let me in the pool hall where the young kids couldn't go, so I could rap for the older dudes, Chuck, You know what I mean? Black. Yeah, so and they would, smoke their cigars and whatever, and then I literally, they'd be like, yo, they put on a jukebox with the instrumentals, and then they'd be like, go ahead, verse, go. And I would just rap about what was going on. And
they was calling you verse back then?
Yeah, because why? Because I was Kamal to them, but once I came up with because they would say kick a verse. So I'm like, that's me. That
was your first rap name, Verse? Mm-hmm. And you stuck with it. Mm-hmm. Right, that's dope, man.
The first one I created in my head, though, was K Smooth, but I was like, nah. Because I said, how can I do K Smooth when I got to do KAMAU, say, man, I got to, because that was my rap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my rap when they said kick and rap. And it's like, oh.
That was
then
your
I'm
one
like,
that that was your single.
Yeah, right. And then when they would kick that, I realized that I could express myself on a higher level in the moment after that. So when they would say kick that, I would just rap about what was going on. And it's to give it an intricate description, there's a part in the Matrix where everything slows down and it's just numbers, and then he's moving out the way before the bullet comes. So why I say it's why I never smoke or drunk. Well, part of that was trauma through Bad Boy, but that's different. But why I would say I never smoked initially, there was such a therapeutic connection to it that when I was in that moment, my body was like intoxicated in this high force. So things would slow down. So, you know what I mean? Like, you see how now you got on a gray shirt. You know what I mean? You got on a gray shirt. You selling crack? No, that ain't work. Like, but ain't work is coming to me. I'm seeing the word that ain't work because gray shirt. You know what I mean?
You got the word. Yeah, the word that rhymes with shirt is
right.
Is
so
loaded.
as I'm sitting here in front of the mic, I'm redundantly talking to you because none of it's hype. But you see what just happened there? The words that connect to it. But that can make it. I literally see them and pick it.
Nice.
So that's a gift. So when I started to realize that, Bob and Littles in my neighborhood, incredible artists. Littles do reggae, rap, sing. I'm talking about incredible talents. Bob was my favorite rapper. People had Jay-Z. It was Bob. You know, Bob was the guy that I'm like, wow.
That was his name, Bob? Like
Bob Alab. He was incredible. He would freestyle an entire song with a hook and it makes sense. So, but Bob was also in the street. So a small little moment, I remember a small little moment, he told me 3 times, but he was like, yo, you don't have to do that. You see, when you in a juice bar and we downstairs and that's who we love you for. He said, think about it. You ain't never shot nobody in your rap. No, never did that. And we think you talented. It's like, yeah, that's who you are. And he initiated that for me more, and then I got more confident after later. I remember because when I started the Hip Hop Project is a program executive produced by Bruce Willis, Russell Simmons, and Queen Latifah. But in the beginning, it was started by this guy named Chris Roll, where it was the development of young people in their abilities and learning the music business. So he instilled that in me. So I had that. So right when HOODFELLAZ started their first single was a little bit too late because I already wrote a rhyme to that.
I don't want to speed though. Let's go back. So. You're a young kid. You're running around the neighborhood. Yeah. You start battle rapping.
Yes.
Are you like going to different boroughs?
Oh, yes. So that's the transition. So first, I'm like, I'm getting a little
because you said you had to start leaving the neighborhood because you was getting a little bit of hate.
Because it started to kick a rhyme, right? And I'm rhyming. Why you on his dick? Why y'all on his dick for?
Because now your friends are watching you become someone that people are, pretty much immolate. They look at you like you're not the regular kid anymore.
Right. So I never forgot I was with my cousin Justin, and Justin was like, "Oh snap!" Because 2 girls was like, "Yo, that's Verse. That's him. That's him."
You was like a celeb at that age. A young celebrity.
If you wanna, yeah. If you wanna, I just run away.
Hood celebrity.
Let's do that. So, that said, yo, you know what? I started to understand the small concept of who wasn't giving me that level of hate. Strangers, because the only thing they had was the admiration of the moment. They didn't have the relationship to build this competitive energy with me. So all they could do is appreciate that. So there's nobody who could support you more than a stranger. So I would say, hey. So when I went to school in Thurgood Marshall,
where's that?
In Harlem.
Okay.
Right. When I went to school in Thurgood Marshall, I ventured out even more. Right. When I went to school in Thurgood Marshall, I ventured out even more, and I started going around. First, it was in my neighborhood. I would go to the towers. I would go, anywhere, any block that people was rapping at or saying, and I'll rap with you. But it was ciphers, battles. But I knew the transition was when I went to Thurgood Marshall. It was a kid who was bullying me. Right, it was a kid who was bullying me, and I never had the courage to fight him back. Not because I 101. He just was well respected. So I just said, you know what? Forget this. Fuck it. So I fought him and I got the best of him. But then he would every day. I would have to,
It's on site. It's on site now.
Right, with his other 3 friends. So one time we in the lunchroom though, and I'm rapping. And the shift changed. The shift changed to such an admiration that even he was like, yo, nah, I gotta be cool with him. But I didn't know that. I'm thinking he trying to set me up. He's like, yo, I want you to come to this block. And I'm like, fuck no.
Mm-hmm. This is after you guys had a fight.
Right. And when he's seeing me, my hand is nervous and I'm looking, I'll never forget it. There's a big Hennessy bottle behind him. And I'm like, if I could just get to the other side and hit him over the head, then I could run. Because he with 5 other people. Because I'm like, you just trying to jump me because you didn't get to jump me the way you did before. Because the last time I hit your friend and was able to run. Then he put out $100.
And this is in junior high school?
This is. And
he had $100?
He had $100.
So the kid was getting money?
Yes.
All right.
See, this is Harlem. People would.
They was getting money early.
Yes.
This is like.
Yes.
After Rich Porter. This is,
yes.
Harlem is known as a hustler.
Right. Yeah. This is right around that time, a little bit after. Yeah. So he put out $100. So I'm looking like, that's $100 in my head. Like, I'm like, nah. He put out another $100. I'm like, nah. He pulled out another $100. So now I'm going no, just to see
how much more money
he gonna pull out.
Yeah.
It went to $700. He was like, yo, bro. I'm serious. So I'm ready to walk with him. So I didn't notice the guy was Jae Millz, right? But I didn't notice Jae Millz is finishing people. You feel me? This dude is so jealous and angry at Jae Millz that he's willing to spend $700 because he felt he heard somebody who could.
Wow.
That I wasn't processing it because I'm still because this person I wasn't trusting. So it was a transition to me. So I'm like, yo, this is $700, bro. I said,
so wait, hold on.
Put this in my sock.
I don't want to go. I want to get right back to where you at. But why was he bullying you to begin with? Like, how did that start?
Oh, because my mom. If somebody hits you, you tell the teacher, don't hit them back.
Oh, okay. So he just,
He just. Oh yeah, that and when you're in the classroom and it
you
and
in the same class together.
Mm-hmm. Okay. When you're in the classroom. And I see it now as an instructor, as a teacher, and admiration is the first forms of jealousy. So when you're in anybody that displays any form of something that gets validation too much, there's always someone who feels inadequate.
So the same thing that was happening on the block
It was happening in the classroom.
because of your talent,
Well, education.
because of your education. So this is like you raising your hand
Right.
and stuff, and you answering questions.
Right.
And, all right, got
And
you.
then on top of that, then I'm not docile. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So because of that, it's like, but I am from Bronx. I'm not from Harlem. You could get jumped any time. You know what I mean?
Got you. So now he had little. Okay, but
Right.
then at some point he realized you had talent.
Right, because the whole lunchroom, I remember the shift. The entire lunchroom was watching me bang on the table. And I never forget Mr. Grisso. He was like, he said, "You always been a brilliant writer." But white guy, he was young at the time. He said, "This hip hop thing might be your thing." He said, because your ability to express yourself, you do it in that. And he said, look, he was like, look. And I said, what do you mean, look? Right? He said, no, look. Look around. And he turned it around. And I didn't realize, because I would do this all the time, I didn't realize, how much of the entire lunchroom was just there to watch me do that.
So let me ask you,
Yeah.
I just want to get to that little part in the school. So when you're doing that, do you see everybody, or are you in your own space?
I'm in my own space, because remember, my gift is making me draw on the words. So I'm intoxicated with the moment. I'm literally I never drunk before, but it's like, I don't know, if you take a drink and you're not drunk but you're nice. So I'm literally intoxicated, enjoying that moment of expressing myself.
Okay.
Right. So
dope.
I didn't realize the reciprocity of the crowd till Mr. Grisso turned around and said, look. And then I'm looking. It's lunchroom, table. And all of them are just around me.
And
And I'm
you're
like-
just in your own space, just rapping and being.
Right. But then the second and third time when they seen it. So when he came up with the $700, I'm like, $700? Yo, I'm gonna put this in my sock under the joint, because if he trying to jump me,
So he gave you the money first?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I was like, whoa, and we
Because he
Right.
knew, he just felt like you was going to win.
yes. But I didn't know what was going on.
You still don't know why he's giving
He's
you $700?
explaining to me while we walking, because Thurgood Marshall is on 135th Street.
Okay.
So there's a long time now, because we going to 140th.
So you guys
So
are
we're
walking,
walking.
and you still like
Nervous,
apprehensive, because you don't know what's going on, and if you
And so, but he's
push you in the alley, and
right. But his whole energy is changing from this person to admiration.
and you sense that while
Right.
during the walk.
So now, and then it's crazy, because now he's like, yeah, yo, this dude he's nice, but yo, what you do, nobody could do. And he was like, what you do, nobody could do. And he don't know, but his man's, I'm betting on you. You know what I mean?
and you never heard of Jae Millz before this?
No, but I knew he was the guy when I got there.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So let's say
because the fucking entire when I mean the half of Harlem was in that park, and then they just come because he's beating people before me. I'm watching it.
Is he doing it for money too? Or
No,
is it just,
no. This guy just gave me the money to be there.
Okay.
So this wasn't a for money situation, which was the thing. Like, this wasn't until like the battling for money with me came a little bit later after and all that. And then in that short span, it wasn't money like it is now. It just was, yo, I enjoy you so much. Yo, you did your thing here. But there was a little time where my mom thought I was selling drugs, and I wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in this park. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of people in there. It's
Yeah.
it's like a crowd, and
Yep.
you see him rapping,
And he's listen, man. Jae Millz was extremely gifted. And see, because battling is a psychological space and an energy you have to be into. That's a different type of hip hop. That's his prime. Like, a lot of this stuff is not videotape, but I'm telling you, this guy was nice. This is not, you know what I mean? It's him, his arrogance, his L's, it's myself, Lux, Head Ice. You know what I mean? Like he was one of them ones.
Was Murder Mook battling around this time too?
He came a little later.
Yeah.
But he was one of them ones. Like
Smoke.
Murder Mook deserves everything. Like for example, there's a battle with me and Murder Mook that on the and I like see I had the approach that Jae Millz had. Jae Millz was mad cool, bro. After the situation, he wasn't hating. He was like, "Yo,
wait." So hold on. So he's battle rapping.
Yes,
and
he's
so,
letting guys have it. But I'm sitting there paying attention. Like, he's nice. Okay, you know what? He dressed better than me. He's fly. I'm going to use everything that he can say against me. That's why I said it was kind of like an Eminem situation. I'm going to use everything that's said against me, and then I'm going to turn it about rapping and into the moment at this moment now. And what wasn't was he was talking about killing people, and then I would just remember him having the jersey on and using that, and you know, using that as what could be done to you and all of this stuff. And I remember he looked around. He's like, "Can anybody do what he just did?" He was like, "No." He was like, "Yo, you got it." And if he was like,
Jae Millz said that?
Yeah.
Can anybody? So you guys battle rap?
Yes.
He had like right then.
Yeah.
Admitted that you won.
Yeah. Because he didn't. He was like, "Can anybody do what he just did?" Because I was the only person that I seen every time where I was going, where I could literally is improvisation. I would have written raps, but I have improvisation, the skill, because I'm telling you, it's a skill.
Freestyle is what they like.
Yeah. And especially, I'm free. I'm not. This is not for money. I'm not. It's not. It's an expression. So I'm in my rawest element. So that wasn't being used to. So he wasn't prepared for that.
All right. So you won this battle rap.
Mm-hmm.
You got $700 in your sock.
Right.
Now you got to walk back to where you came from with the same dudes that gave you the money.
Why he paid for my cab, bro?
The guy who.
Why he paid for? Yeah. This is different.
So just $700. You kept that.
Yes. He paid for my cab. Yo. You know what I mean?
And then from that point on, you guys were cool in school and all that?
Because he was like, yeah. And nobody, he was like, yo. And he's like, and I got to give it to you, not pussy. Right? So I was like, yeah.
That's dope, man. That's
Yeah.
a dope story. So, all right. So now, is this become a thing? Like, are you like a battle rapper now? Are you
so yes, now people are coming for me, but I didn't know it yet because now I'm moving through different parts of Harlem. I'm in grant projects. I'm everywhere. And I'm making my name, but then certain people would go, the same verse, because remember, it's no camera, so they expecting this big gangster, because the name, right? And it's me. And man, I remember I had one summer where I battled 5 people every day for the summer. But it was fun. I was literally in my raw element of just expressing myself. It wasn't I'm really... the competitive aspect of it is there, but it's not there to the point where it becomes, in my opinion, outrageously disrespectful, where it doesn't stay hip hop, you know. And it was a time where everybody wasn't pushed to be gangsters. You could be who you was because I was accepted. Yeah,
and it was a talent that
is
kind of new,
right?
I mean. Hip hop is only we just celebrated 50 years of hip, so it's
right.
It was still young.
Yeah, it wasn't even 20 something.
Yeah,
years at that time, and here is right.
So
it was you rap. Wow.
Do you want something to drink, brother? Are you okay?
No, I'm good.
You want some water, anything like that?
Yeah, I'll take a glass of water.
All right, we're gonna take a quick second, get you some water. All right.
Okay.
Bust around while we wait.
Oh man. It's crazy because Monorail gonna be happy. He like, yo man, you should do this because he think I should do a podcast. He's like, yo yeah, because he's like I could express myself, but I just really want to be an artist, man. And I'm not gonna give that up for no one.